Now before we start this video and I go and try and put the jesses on there, I will apologise that this camera is struggling to focus now, and that is literally because Amaya just nailed it when it was on the perch. So hopefully the camera survived. Hey guys, welcome to Life of Gaz and welcome to part 4 of my series in training owls. Now I've got Amaya here, she's my Bengal eagle owl, and what I'm going to do is just talk to you about the jesses and the anklets that I use. Now you may have seen that I use the removables or a false alarm rise, or however you pronounce it, and the whole reason behind that is essentially I just don't like them being left on the birds when they're in the aviary, and they're easy enough to get on and off. So what I'm going to do is talk you through how I put them on, and also to take them off you just essentially reverse the process. Now when it comes to the anklets on the birds, you can see obviously they're down there on the feet. They need to be made up in a certain way to enable them to go on and off, and I'll show you just how I make them in a second. So there's the gear that I have just there. Now you can see I've got the anklets just here and the jesses just here. Now these are button jesses, and they get that name from that little button up on the top, and they just squeeze through the eyelets just here, and they sort of pop on and they don't come off sort of too easily, so they won't fall out when the birds are flying, but they're easy enough to take in and out when they're not. Now these aren't flying jesses, these are ones which I'll use if I'm taking the birds anywhere, and that way I can put a swivel through there. And I don't fly the birds with these ones on, and the reason behind that is because if a little twig or a branch caught through there, if the bird landed on a tree where I couldn't reach it, then obviously you run the risk of losing your bird. So let's just have a look at the anklets just there, and we've got a little T cut into here, and we've got a couple of little notches taken out up here. Now these are 8mm, and that's really only to do with the size of the bird, and they're notched all the way along as you can see, so it stops any rubbing on the legs. Not that I'd be too worried about that with my birds, because obviously these are only on for short periods of time. So when it comes to putting these on the bird, essentially you just wrap them around the bird's leg, and then that bit just there goes through there just like this. A little bit difficult to do with one hand, and then it just sort of locks into place with those two eyes sitting together and the bird's leg going down through there. And then what holds it in place is the jessie itself just going down through that hole and pulling all the way through. So what I'm going to do is just put this into practice now and go and get some jesses on my Bengal eagle owl. Now when it comes to putting the anklets on the birds, what I do is I'll tuck my glove up underneath my arm. Now the reason why I do this is because these birds are imprints, and being imprints, essentially what I've done is hand reared them, and they like to try and nibble anything which I've got in my hands. So if I put the glove fingers just up underneath my armpit, then it stops the birds from wanting to do that, and they'll sometimes just nibble the glove if they're in the mood for it. Then what I'll do is I'll wrap the anklet around the back of their leg, slide one ring down through the T which I cut into it, which I showed you earlier, and as I slide that T down through there, as I slide the ring through the T, then I just put the jessie through to tighten it up. Now whilst I'm doing this, I'll do the other one as well. Now on the other leg I've got a closed ring on my birds. It's an ID ring, and that ID ring really helps to identify the bird if they ever got lost or stolen. That's a great way of IDing these guys. It's something which most birds have and most breeders will put on. But what I do is I just slide that ring up out of the way, and once I've slid that ring up out of the way, it gives me lots of space to then attach that other jessie. Now what I'm going to do is get these guys out and go and take them flying. I won't show any of the flying today with these guys, I'll save that for another video, but I do hope you guys have enjoyed it. Now if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and then also check out the latest in my owl training videos popping up on a card just there, and also my owl playlist as well.